Ever wonder why you're still hungry after just eating, or why you're going to crave certain foods out of the blue? In today's episode, I'm going to break down 6 different types of hunger so that you can understand what your body needs to help you overcome this. Before we break it down though today, I am somebody who used to struggle hardcore with disordered eating patterns and even just a really disordered relationship I had to moving my body and how I viewed my body. I have since overcome that from doing years and years of work and applying education and strategies that I know have really helped myself, but not only myself, have helped many of my clients. And I'm bringing this to you and as a fair energetic exchange, and to make sure that you don't miss out on any new content. Please subscribe, hang out with me. If you hang out with me long enough, I'll have you believing in exactly the powerful, magnificent being that you already be by using my no bullshit approach. Physical hunger would be the number one hunger cue your body gives you. Physical hunger is the physiological response we have to needing more energy. So this is going to look like you're going to have a dip in energy. You might have the growling in your stomach, and literally you're going to feel like you would eat anything. Oftentimes too with physical hunger, this is where we're going to tap into irritability, because everything is just like your system is needing those nutrients to continue to function. Hunger number 2 is emotional hunger. Tell me, have you ever said the following words? I'm such an emotional eater. I want you to take a pause and breathe here with me, because yes, sometimes we're not just eating to feed a physiological response. Sometimes we're feeding to feed an emotional response. So this could look like when you're feeling stressed, when you're feeling bored, when you're feeling lonely, when you're feeling overwhelmed. This kind of hunger is going to come to you, and you're really looking for the comfort foods. Oftentimes too with emotional eating that I have found for myself and for many of my clients is this will really trigger some shame. So after you have eaten, there'll be some shame associated to what you decided to eat. And I really just want you to take a moment here and let's just forgive ourselves, because we don't always just eat to feed our bodies and to nourish our bodies. Sometimes we're really just feeding this emotional response. And what I want to offer you, and what I'm going to plan to offer you in the next video, is different tools that you can reach into your little toolbox and not feel like you just have to rely on the comfort foods or the foods that you crave when you're feeling these types of emotional responses. Hunger number 3 would be mostly mindless eating. You know what I'm talking about. Food needs to be incorporated into the behavior or the habit that you are doing. Example, watching TV. Have you ever just tried to watch a few episodes on Netflix and not really eat? We tend to take food and we use it in this mindless way, and it becomes a part of the behavior. So it's like really attached into that behavior. Hunger number 4 would be a habitual hunger. So this is a hunger that is just more routine. So example of that would be lunchtime. We eat because it's 12 o'clock, it's noon. We have conditioned ourselves to think that we need to eat by the clock. And not that there's anything wrong with this, not that there's anything wrong with any of these types of hungers. I'm just trying to give you different ways of looking at it so you can understand what your body needs. And so if you're somebody that really trains yourself by the clock, maybe because of the way your day is set up, maybe you have to because you're not able to eat at another time. And so we're not always really paying attention to what our body physiologically needs. And I just want to offer this different perspective, because when it comes to the habitual hunger, what I did for myself when I was just discovering these different kinds of hungers and really just understanding which ones that I would fall mostly into. Habitual hunger was really a main one for me. I would just eat because it's noon, it's 5, it's 8 in the morning, 8 in the morning, noon, supper time. And so I wasn't really ever taking time to consciously ask myself, am I really hungry though? right? And there tends to be like this scarcity sometimes that could be attached to the habitual hunger because, as I just said, we don't know if we're going to get to eat. So if your lunch break is noon, there's probably a possibility that you won't be able to eat at 1 when you might actually be hungry. And so this is just ways to just explore and just like really experiment with yourself to see like, oh, before you go and eat, ask yourself, am I eating out of habit or am I eating because I'm actually hungry? Like, am I eating based on the clock or am I eating based on what my body needs? Hunger number 5, hydration hunger. Here's the thing, your body craves way more water than we actually tend to give it. And so they say that by the time you're thirsty, you've actually become dehydrated. Like if you feel like your mouth is dry, you're thirsty. And what your body will do, because our bodies are brilliantly designed to keep us alive, is it will trigger a hunger for you to go consume food in hopes that it will be food that is higher in water so it can hydrate and nourish itself. And so hydration hunger is literally just asking yourself, like, am I really hungry or am I thirsty? This is also another way to explore having water before you decide to eat or after. I wouldn't necessarily drink my water during my meal. I tend to do this before and after because I'm trying to really be in the moment of what is needed at that time. And so if I'm eating and drinking, well, then I'm not really nourishing my body with the food. But if I have water when I think that I'm hungry, but I'm actually thirsty, then that hunger cue tends to dissipate and I realize, oh, I wasn't really hungry at all. And so that's hunger number 5. Hunger number 6 is social hunger. So these are the moments where we gather around, family and friends or work events, events that you go to participate in, and there tends to be food. So this kind of social hunger really is being triggered by the fact that you're seeing food. So you're just seeing the food and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, I think I could eat. Whereas if there had been no food, you probably wouldn't have wanted to eat. And so again, social hunger, again, there's nothing wrong with any of these hungers, by the way, but social hunger is really just to give yourself this moment of like, that's so fascinating. Like we just got together and there's like, I don't know, a charcuterie board amongst, in the middle of the table and you're amongst all your friends and all of a sudden you're like, I could go for some brie cheese right now on a cracker. So that's another kind of hunger that gets triggered mostly by the fact that it's put in front of our face. If you liked this video, make sure you check out my next video because I show you how to take control of your hunger in a way that you feel really empowered and no more guilting yourself or shaming yourself. So it's time to tap into some guilt-free living and eating and being. Thank you so much for being here. Make sure that you are subscribed. Thank you again to all the subscribers. Let me know in the comments below which type of hunger you tend to find yourself more in, and let's have a conversation around that. As always, be brave, be bold, be you.